Hello, everyone.
Welcome, welcome,
Of
welcome.
course, we got a plane go overhead just as we started.
We'll give that just a minute and I'll start sharing. That's always good. I didn't even think about
Carry for the planes.
this could be an issue.
Like carry for the planes.
Greg, is the background noise still really bad for you there?
It's not horrible. I think it's more just like you guys cut out for a couple seconds here and there, but I think once you stop moving around and stuff, I think things will be
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
Yeah. Good, good. Well, welcome to the show, Greg. We're thrilled to have you here today. Our brand new skeleton key host. You started with us Thursday night. No, Tuesday night.
I'm sorry, you cut out there when you were talking.
Did I? Hang on, we're gonna try to fix it.
All right.
I think we need to put it this way.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
We had to block the wind.
Yeah.
We're still
There.
working on wind block.
That
Okay.
blocks the wind. Okay.
Yep, blocks
No.
the wind.
Is that better? Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I think that's a lot better actually. Yeah.
Good, good. Okay, so I was asking, or I was saying that you are our brand new host on Skeleton Keep, but you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a little while. I've been probably doing this paranormal investigating and the work that I've been doing for probably about 13 years, but doing like live streaming and stuff, doing like spirit box work probably for about 5-6 years now, something like that, in different locations, different ways.
Cool. So you have, I don't tell us just how many shows does he have going on our network here?
You got to ask me these questions so I have the answers ready before we start.
Well, you
I
can-
know we have the 2 Ghost Box and the Ghost Box Experimental, and then is that
There's
it? Or do we
4
have
or 5 of them, right, Greg?
So what I do, I do the 2 spirit box sessions, Ghost Box Live and Ghost Box Live experimental sessions. Ghost Box Live is on Sunday at 10 p.m. The experimental sessions are on Tuesday, and then I do Ghost Box Radio, which is out of AM 950, out of the Twin Cities, and it's a radio show, but it's also we also send it out on the internet. In the Twin Cities, I have a reach of about 100,000 people. And then I see Jennifer on there. She was a guest a couple weeks ago on my radio show, which was awesome. She was amazing. And then I do once a month we do a program called Paranormal Reveal, which is going through an investigation from start to finish, which is really interesting because we really try to focus on one investigation with one investigator. So we try to stay very focused, and we try to bring in as much recordings and whatnot that we can. The first one we did was with Char Savoy over at Villisca Axe Murder House, and there she was there during one of the most famous times of the house beyond the murders, and that was when a storm came through and blew out all the windows in the house back in 2011. It just was devastating, and she was there for it. So it's just something that it's really fun to be able to go through these topics and talk about them and get people involved and hear their stories and whatnot.
It really is. I've enjoyed watching your Ghost Box shows.
Thank you.
Those are very interesting. And Jess and I are always about true evidence, not just saying everything is a ghost.
Right.
Because, there are a lot out there in the field. Everything is a ghost. A lot of these TV shows, everything is a ghost.
Well, and I mean, Terry, I know you and I talked a little bit, and I know that it's not always easy to hear what's coming through the spirit box. But I also feel like that I think there's a good opportunity for people to hear from their loved ones, hear from whoever else. Hey, Jenny. And the purpose of the Sunday night shows in particular is to reach out to loved ones, people's loved ones, and reach out. And for example, when I do it Sunday, it's going to be about people who were in the military, because it's Memorial Day on Monday. So we're going to try to reach out to those we have lost and try to talk with them. The Tuesday night shows, they're a little bit different because we try to reach out to people, either reach out to well-known people and not like celebrities of the last 10 years or something. We're talking like historical figures and whatnot.
Right.
There is a fine line, and I'm always worried about it, from doing communication versus trying to be gimmicky, because there are some out there who try to be gimmicky, who if a celebrity dies, they're going to be out there with their spirit box trying to get a hold of that person immediately, which is, in my opinion, horribly disrespectful. So,
and also I feel too soon.
I will tell you that I actually stopped in the middle of the show the other night to send Terry a message, because you had just made it clear that you would not be attempting to contact anyone who had anything to do with the tragedy in Texas. And I had to stop everything I was doing and send her a message, because it was just like, it's things like that just makes your respect for a person rise even higher. Because I just feel like it would have been
praising you in the background.
It would have been disrespectful. And I've seen some people who do that on YouTube and other places, and it just always feels like they're exploiting a tragedy for clout. And it's not cool.
No, it's not. And, let alone all those which are the main reasons. There's also the very real reason, too. Something like that happens and you're scanning through radio frequencies that that person's name, that location, that's all going to bleed through on the radio regardless, and it's just, all of it is just, it's just gross. And when people do that, I get very angry. And there's one I'm thinking of in particular. I won't say names because it's not important, but it's just, my thing is always, if people are trying to reach out to those who've passed, like celebrities, within an hour after hearing about it, then I think there's something wrong. And I think that, to each their own, but I didn't want any part of it. And what the best part of that on Sunday was, I did not get anybody in the comments, and we have a lot of people watching. We didn't have anyone in the comments being like, oh, but don't you think, or anything. Like, everyone's just like, nope, you're right, absolutely. We wouldn't want you to do that anyway. And so we're all on the same page.
Yeah, I noticed that nobody was even asking, and it just means that you're following the people who watch you. They share that same quality.
Yeah, I mean,
so we got the door opening on us.
That's spirit. That's
actually, this is a very old house in Birmingham, Alabama. So the doors are creaky, the stairs is creaky. We're actually going to talk to them about maybe ghost hunting here.
Nice.
This is a witchcraft shop.
Yeah, this is our local metaphysical shop. It's called Books, Beans, and Candles. And
the house has been here, I know, since the 40s minimum.
Oh, wow.
That's right downtown Birmingham, Alabama. So there's shit here.
Yeah. Well, there's
the spirit that was opening the door was called My 9-Year-Old Didn't Shut It Well. When she went inside.
There's some questionable material here as well. So
yeah,
it's like
we love Linus.
The microphone's perfect for him, isn't it? It's just, more perfect for him than me, sadly. But
he's so beautiful.
He's been trying to trip me all day, which was awesome, as you can imagine, right? You don't like me that much, do you? No.
He is beautiful. And Greg, that's one thing that drew me into you the first time I watched you, and the love for your cat. As someone who does animal rescue, I love anyone that loves their animals.
Yeah, no, they're not, as you know better than I do. They're not animals, are they? They're not pets. They're family.
Right.
They're your loved ones. What do you mean he looks angry? He doesn't look angry. My God.
No, he's sweet.
He looks loving.
Trust me, I've seen angry on that face before, and I felt angry. When he has an angry face, he normally draws blood. So you just have to.
Valid.
deal with that.
And yeah, he's a pretty hefty boy. I'm sure he could do some damage.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He's a rag doll, and so he's not as big as a lot of rag dolls get. He's probably about I don't know, probably about maybe 15, 17 pounds at the most, and just a big boy. And but he's as much full of love. The problem with Linus, if there is a problem, there isn't a problem, but when he does love, he overdoes it, and sometimes it comes across as like aggressive, and it's not. I just know him well enough that it's not aggressive with him. He's just a big boy, so he wants to nip at you if you're not paying attention, and sometimes that means just ripping part of your skin off your ankle, and he doesn't want to do it. He just wants attention, and that's
Right. We have one like that too.
Later. What?
That was actually born on my daughter that's been talking in the chat here. They share a birthday, and they kind of have the same attitude. He's kind of hateful, but loving when you know him.
Mm-hmm.
He wants you to pet him, but he might bite the shit out of you.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I mean, the thing about Linus and Adrian she had posted a picture or a video of her rubbing a cat's belly, and she's like, "This is so rare," and it's like, not over here. I mean, I was going to post a video. I mean, that's what Linus is all about, is belly rubs, and he likes, not to be weird, he likes it rough. Okay, he likes very aggressive.
My husband's cat Charlie is the same way. Loves the belly rubs.
One of my cats loves it. Lilith loves belly rubs. Pandora would rather eat you alive than she would let you rub her belly. So we're 50-50.
Sure. Well, and Linus loves getting brushed, and he's
a lot of cats don't.
Yeah, a lot of cats don't, and I have absolutely no problem when he gets any sort of mats. I don't have to cut him out. I brush him out, and I can be as aggressive as possible, and he just does not care about it. And yeah, I mean, I think males, there is something to be said about male cats. I had another.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Both mine are female, and Lilith loves her belly rubs.
Yeah. I mean, my last ragdoll that I had, he passed in 2012. Dave, we call him Dave. He was kind of the same as Linus and looked a lot like Linus too, as it happens. So, yeah, it's cool. I'm just looking over at him now. He's staring at me. He's just making sure that I'm not up to anything bad or anything, I guess. I don't know.
Or you don't break out any snacks without him.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually. He wants it. He begs for it. He always wants it. And then you put something out for him. He just looks at you like, "What is this?"
Right? Like, don't give me that, you peasant human.
Yeah, whatever it is, because he'll beg for, like, and since now he just begs for everything. He's like, "No, you don't want vitamins. You don't want salad. You don't want all this stuff. It's just funny though, because it's like, no, Linus, you don't want any of this, but yet he still begs, and it's the ritual. I mean, owning an animal, any animal, is about rituals, isn't it? It's about going through the motions, even though you know exactly how it's going to play out. You know that he's going to not be happy with it. He's not going to want any of it. My friend Christy, she brought catnip. And I said, well, I don't know. He's kind of finicky, and sure enough, catnip. He's just like, oh, that's interesting. And then he walks away because that's how he is. A pain in the ass.
How old is Linus?
Linus is 13. I got him when he was 8, so I haven't had a long life with him. Unfortunately, ragdoll's life expectations around 13. I'm hoping, of course, that
you get more out of him.
I would love a lifetime with him. Obviously, I think that's the biggest unfair thing as far as having a pet is the fact that the life is so much shorter than to really be able to enjoy these wonderful animals and these friends, really.
To answer Kimberly, yes, we do still do investigations. We've actually got a couple coming up that we've got on the books already. It just, a lot of times we can't go live at some of the investigations we do, especially when it's a private home.
And we do a lot of.
We do a lot of home investigations, and a lot of people aren't comfortable having their home broadcast live for everyone to see. if we're doing a business, a lot of times they're happy to do it. Like when we did the salon, when we did the Kaimulga grist mill, they were happy to have it live, but people are not happy to have their home live. So,
and if you're addressing Greg, I'm sure he investigates as well.
Talking about the live, the other show I did forget to talk about is Living Paranormal, which is the live stream investigations that we do. And you all kindly gave me permission for, I said it's the 5th, but I think it's actually the 4th. That's Saturday. It would be a week from this Saturday. We're going to be at the Grant House in Rush City, Minnesota. We've been there a number of times doing lives, but we do a class. My friend Shar and I do a class. And so the people who... You don't graduate, it's not like a certificate or now you're a paranormal investigator. All it is, it's just showing different ways of investigating and metaphysical and how the two combine. That's all it is. It's 5 weeks. And then at the end, those who want to can take part in this investigation. So we're going to be going to the Grand House, and these people, include people who had been part of our class before, and they're just smart. They're just good investigators. They come from the heart. So we're going to be doing that. And then I don't do as much private investigations anymore, and I'll tell you, unless there's one that I was working on or at least consulting on that had some strange overtones to it, but I find that they can be very difficult to work in terms of the people who own the house, or because you end up, and that's why you really have to protect yourself in different sort of ways, such as things to sign, actually getting really deep in their psyche a little bit when you're interviewing them up front, because it's, when I'm sure for you two as well, when you started, and if someone came to me and said, we want you to investigate this garbage can, I'd be in there, I'd be all over it. And now after, 15 years or so of doing this, 13 years, it's like, well, no, what is going on here? What's going on in your life? Are you taking any medication? Are you doing, because there's, nowadays we really have to be careful ourselves. And there's been a number of them I've turned down just because it just doesn't feel right. It didn't feel safe.
Same. And I will say, Greg, when I started Spirit, I was an old woman. So I was already aware of the crazy in the world. Mm-hmm. And we do have waivers. Mm-hmm. When someone contacts me, the very first thing I tell them is we're going to do a conference call with the team, and we all listen. We have all
these questions.
We all have our questions, and I let them know up front, we're digging deep into your life.
Yep.
Before I leave my house, I want to know what medications you're on, any medical diagnosis you've had.
Hell, do you have a 20-year-old alarm clock next to your bed putting off ridiculous amounts of, electromagnetic energy? Because we actually did have that happen at one investigation. The alarm clock, she was seeing things at night while she was in the bed. Mm-hmm. And as we got to investigating the alarm clock, it was one of those like really old ones. Like part of it had like that whole fake plastic wood grain. That's how old it was. And it was just putting off ridiculous amounts of electromagnetic energy. So...
Yeah, absolutely. And that's
we've actually had a couple of them that we suspect the high EMFs helped elevate things in the house.
Yeah.
Just the one at the moment, and because of Linus's advanced age, I do not plan to introduce any other cats into his life. I did that with the previous cat I had, AJ, and then I brought in Linus, who was quite a bit younger, and that didn't seem like a great idea. I don't feel like that she had the best end to her life, and I feel very bad about that, to be honest, because they just didn't get along. AJ, I forgot about it because she was with Dave also. AJ doesn't like to share her humans, and it just became really difficult. There wasn't anything I could do no matter what I tried. And
we had a rescue dog that was that way.
See, and I have 2 cats. Both of them are strays that were rescued. But when I introduced the second cat, Lilith, my oldest cat, she was not even a year old yet. So they were still both very young and able to still play as kittens together. Mm-hmm. And Sam, no, I'm drinking coffee. Come on, you know me better than that.
My drinking starts at 2 today. I'm going to go visit some dear friends of mine. I'm going to spend some time over there. I'm going to grill and stuff, and so I'm excited about that. I mean, anytime to see them, but also anytime to maybe have a drink. You know,
Right, kick back and enjoy the weekend.
right?
So, Greg, I heard you talk. Well, you're up in Minnesota,
Yep.
Minneapolis area, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I heard you talking on the show the other day about Prince. Can you recap that story of being your experience there? Because there's so many. I mean, hell, the purple one.
You know, I mean, being up in Minneapolis, I used to work at an advertising agency called Carmichael Lynch, and if you've ever seen a Subaru commercial or ever seen anything with Jack Lynx and Sasquatch, that we created that stuff, and they still do. Yep, and they still do Subaru. I haven't worked there since September, but the thing is you know, obviously right down the road from us is First Ave, which is the venue that Prince played at quite a bit. But the building I worked in before it was refurbished, it was where where Prince's nightclub Glam Slam was, and up on the 12th floor where my office was for 14 years, that was where his penthouse was. So
the siren.
and the thing is about that is that you know, that place was built in 1916, that building, and that place was very active, and that was the first place I ever did any sort of investigation, was in the basement of that building. And that was really pretty incredible, and I've investigated that place many times since then, and it's just a really fun location. I mean, it's an old building, so like it has like the big boiler room, and people are always worried that there's bodies going to be burned in there and stuff. It's like, no, of course not. But the thing is that it's, you know, they're like, oh, this is a creepy basement. It's like, you don't know what creepy is. I mean, go to the places like the three of us go to. We'll tell you what creepy is. You know,
exactly. We're trying to keep the sirens out. They're close here. Hang on.
It sounds like they're just parked outside and just running it just during your live. I don't know. Hope everyone's okay, though, to be all honest, though. Hope there isn't anything.
Well, it sounds like we may have an accident right here on this road here.
And the reason it sounded so close is they kind of went around us like this, so we were like right at the center of them. But
yeah, this house sits in a curve,
and this is also Birmingham is a grid city, so if you know it doesn't matter, they can go all around you, and you're going to hear it just as loud. So Birmingham. Sam, I think, was asking what you thought about REM pods, because I know you use one.
Yeah. I mean, I think almost any piece of equipment, you can't really be like, oh, that's definitely spirit talking to you. I mean, you can get intelligent responses, and you really hope that is what it is. But, you know, I think they're good guides to be able to start seeing if we can get some information. You know, when you get like, and I'm pointing over here because this is where my equipment is set up for my ghost box stuff. Because someone asked also if any spirits have followed me home, and it's an interesting question considering I do so much activity in the house. And there's a number of friends who have stayed here, I guess. But with the REM pod, you know, when you get like a green light turn on and it's just going on, and you're just like, well, that's great, but can you turn on the purple light as well? And then all of a sudden it does so. Then that's pretty interesting to me. Is that does that mean, oh my gosh, that means it's spirit? No, but why is it going off? There's also like the flashlight, you know, it's that thing where you have to set it just right for it to go on and off. And sometimes it'll start pulsing. It's like, well, did I turn it on or not? But if you can get it in a rhythm that is actually answering questions, then I think there's something to that as well. We also have a bell also over here, and the bell on occasion will move by itself. It won't ring, but it'll start swaying. And, you know, my first thing is like feeling all around it. Do I feel any sort of air coming through or any sort of wind? So, I mean, those are things that give me hope that I'm actually speaking with spirit. I mean, it's hard to say, but I mean, I personally think, well, why not? I mean, why not say, if you're answering me in an intelligent way, I'm going to take that leap of faith, and others may not, and that's fine. That's what makes us all different investigators.
Right. We use a REM pod too,
Hmm.
and we have questioned, is it working right? Because some places it'll be just like something sitting on it.
Mm-hmm.
And
The first question we usually ask is, okay, can you back off of it now?
Yep.
And make it stop going off, and then ask them, okay, can you make it go off again? We learned when we did the Kaimolga grist mill, when we got down to the bottom level, which is right like at water level, we could not use it there. Something
Yeah.
about the water and the rock and all of that, it just wouldn't work.
Well, it's interesting too, because I actually just told this story on whatever day, I think it was Tuesday that I was last on, and that was when I was in Gettysburg at the Inn at Air Ridge last July, and I had 2 REM pods set up, and one just started going crazy, absolutely crazy, and I thought, well, this might be because of a battery going down or something. Like, I need to change the battery, and the other one wasn't going off. So I said, I'm going to turn this off. If you are a spirit trying to get hold of me, can you turn this one on? So I turned the one off, and the one that wasn't going off at all started going crazy. And they followed my request. And once again, those are things that I think is highly interesting when I'm doing an investigation, because what's the odds of that just happening by itself? Not to say it couldn't, but I asked for them to do something and something happened, therefore I'm going to take that at face value then.
Mm-hmm.
we do too.
Yeah.
My REM
Especially
pod,
whatever they do is repeatable, if we're able to get them to repeat it.
Yeah.
and I was investigating my own home a couple weeks ago. My grandkids said, "Grandma, can we investigate?" So I was just going to set up a few pieces of equipment, nothing serious, and my EMF detector, legit electrician's EMF detector, went off on a fork. A fork. So I'm like, wait, what's going, and I'm spinning around, and I was like, okay, we'll do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And this EMF detector has never gone off for any other than EMFs. And it started like intelligent responding with me.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was like, well, let me get the REM pod, and I put it in another room, and I ask it, it's making my EMF meter like light up and beep. So I said, can you do it to the REM pod? And 3 seconds later, the REM pod went off. And I was like, okay, I have faith in my REM pod now.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jess, you mentioned getting something repeatable, and I agree with that. At the same time, I also worry sometimes because I especially when it comes to spirit box work, I try not to ask for things over and over, only because I don't want to make spirit feel like they're being exploited, opposed to being
Right.
and that's just,
I would say that we don't typically do that. We don't do that with the spirit box. It's more with the EMF or the REM pod. We want them to repeat. Okay, you back off and then come back and do it again, or back off of that and go make this go off. With the spirit box, typically we ask a question, and then we might repeat it. If we don't get an answer, we might repeat that question later. But we just wait, give them time to answer, and then ask something else.
Right. And then I see someone talking about the antenna in the spirit box, and in my opinion, I do not feel that you need to remove the antenna. I don't feel it really matters one way or the other. I understand the purpose of wanting to show that you are removing all variables, but I also feel like that I've been personally doing this long enough that I can tell what's radio and I can tell what's spirit. But at the same time, I'm also going to say I feel like that spirit speaks through radio. Spirit will speak through the radio signals coming through, like the station that's coming on, especially when you're using a hack jack.
We don't have ours removed either.
Yeah, and I just feel like that I don't feel it as a hindrance. I know other people get very they really don't want that there. I've never had an issue with that. My friend Christy, she had wrapped her spirit box in aluminum foil a couple times to see does that make a difference in the type of, type of responses that you're getting. It was very interesting, and I think she thought it was really good. I just like doing it how it is, and I mean, I feel like that it's working for me. But I mean, that's a good thing about it for Bridget and everyone else who wants to try to remove the antenna. Experiment, see what you can do with it. I mean, that's certainly the point of this, because I don't think, as you both know, there isn't one size that fits all for paranormal investigating. So you got to do it how it feels
and it's
to you.
Different investigation. It could be this way tonight, and the same place be nothing on the REM pod tonight, but everything's on the SB7.
Well, and then just within our team itself, like as far as what equipment works best for what each person, like Terry, she gets far better responses when it comes to the REM pod and the EMF, whereas I'm usually the one that is handed the spirit box because I tend to work better with it.
Yeah. Well, and I certainly recall when I started getting into this in the Minnesota scene that I showed up at some of these events and people are like, oh, you use that? We have one, but we never use it. We don't get anything from it. And then I was part of an event, and we had to present. They asked me if I wanted to present some stuff, and I've never done it before. So I played some of my spirit box recordings, and people were just like, you got that through a spirit box? I'm like, yeah, doesn't everybody? I mean, and I don't mean to sound coy like that, but at the same time, it was the same people who are like, well, we don't use it. We don't use it because it just doesn't do anything for us. And
Right.
It's funny because I also know very well that that's not the sole device for paranormal investigating.
Right.
I mean, people are like, some people, especially locally, and that's just a different thing altogether. I get a lot of people who are like, well, we don't use it all the time. You don't have to use it all the time. I never said that you did. People think that that's all I use, and it's not. But it's Jess, like you said, it's what works for each individual person.
Yeah,
right.
It really, really is.
And it can be different. It just depends on the situation. I think the spirits connect sometimes with one person better than the other. Mm-hmm. We have a guy on our team that we've been investigating this house. It's my parents' home that they're bought and renovating. Haunted as fuck.
Oh, God. I mean, we call it Graceland of Alabama simply because when they went in, the carpets are like that crushed powder blue color.
Oh, wow.
And it just
looked like Elvis lived there.
And then once they started going through stuff, they actually found Elvis dolls in the house, so the name just kind of stuck.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Elvis costume.
Though I still think that Roger Rabbit's head was the best one.
Yeah. We our guy that builds our website, huge skeptic, huge. We went over there one night just to, let him feel it out. He had never been on an investigate, and he got grabbed. He left that place that night. He's a firm believer. So, it just, nobody else has ever been grabbed or touched there. We've, heard conversations going on in the other room. The piano plays. You hear walking. The cabinet doors open and close. I mean, it's crazy. But no one had ever been touched.
But the shelf got ripped off the wall, wasn't he?
No, that was Kurt when we were first cleaning out the house. That's when I said, oh, shit.
It actually ripped a shelf like out of studs off the wall onto the floor. So it's something else. It's even run her out of there.
Oh, wow.
Ran me out of there. And she doesn't run. So
I had to step away for a few minutes.
We went right back. But anyway, so I think Sam was asking if we believe that spirits know you're going to know before you do that you're going to die.
Mike, my answer for that, Sam, is who the hell knows?
Yeah, but until we ask one of them, we don't know.
I have an interesting story with the spirit box that I can share if you want.
Absolutely.
Please feel free.
That kind of takes to that. We were at a hotel in Minnesota one night. A bunch of us investigators in Minnesota. We just got together because we got to stay there and whatever else. And I start using spirit box session. And we're bringing through loved ones And all of a sudden, this woman's name, Lisa, comes through, and it's on an older spirit box I have, a custom. And she's like, Lisa, Sunday, so angry. Those were the words that come through. And we're like, well, we don't know what this is. And then we switch spirit boxes and do something else. And all of a sudden, Lisa comes through again. Lisa, Sunday, so angry. Those same words on a different spirit box. And so we knew somebody named Lisa, and we thought that maybe she was trying to get a hold of us or something, like, but it was through spirit box or whatever, and it wasn't her. And then Saturday, we were down in the basement of this place, and Lisa, Sunday, so angry. We just like, what is going on? And so we that night we're at the bar in the hotel, and I'm thinking I'm gonna go to bed, and then I decided not to. We hang out a little bit longer, and it's like 1 a.m. or something like this. And our friend who is running the bar, she's closing out the bar, and she comes running out into the lobby, and she's sobbing, she's screaming, like, what is going on? She goes, well, one of the girls at work here, her mother was just found dead. And we were like, oh my God, she's just found face down in her bedroom dead. And my friend Ryan, he just asked, well, what's her name? And she goes, it's Lisa.
Oh no.
Wow.
And we were just, because we've all lived this all weekend, and we're just like, are you kidding us? I mean, this was really, and it's such a stretch of emotion, because, what you got to remember, I mean, not you, but us,
Right.
we had to remember, this is somebody who's now dead.
Yeah.
As much as like, wow, that's incredible, communication, when no, someone is now dead.
Yeah.
And we had to really kind of just, put our priorities in order here a little bit. But, and we looked at the clock, and it's Sunday at this point. And so it was all, it's just so eerie. And I've never run across anything like that again. Actually, I hope I never do. But I feel like that kind of is in the same vein as that question that was asked.
Right, right. So, yeah, something was warning or something.
I will quickly answer my husband and tell him I am at Books, Beans, and Candles. Skylar's with me. Cody stayed home so he could go to the pool, dear.
I mean, and the thing about that too is, like, immediately the first thing we started thinking of is like, what can we do in the future? And it's like, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do in the future about this, because our thing is, how can we help? Use this help. It's like, there's nothing we could do. Whatever was in the air was, whatever was happening. I mean, it must have been a try to get word out or something else, but it's just, I think that's just how it is sometimes, and maybe I'm just being too
more of a
blind about it.
A warning, the preparation or something.
But the problem is even if we do have spirits that are giving us warnings beforehand, what are we supposed to do about that?
Yeah, you can't go.
Not everyone is good, right?
I mean, how many people by that name if Jess, if you got something with spirit box and Greg, I mean, didn't say he's going to die, just, and you're not going to go and be like, Greg, you might say, if you know me, it's like, I heard your name is a spirit box. I don't know if it's you or not, because I know, another Greg that always comes to my spirit box.
We would all think that it was a Greg coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
it
too.
Just, like, I'm going to need you to give me this person's full government name before I am going to take myself over there and tell them, hey, they told me that something bad's going to happen to you. Look, here, I've got it. I've got it recorded, your full government name.
Yeah. Well, and to be honest, even with that situation, that story I told, I mean, there really wasn't anything in there that was like even saying something bad was going to happen to some person named Lisa. So it's just,
it wasn't giving you really a warning. Yeah. It was just saying, Lisa.
No,
angry.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Absolutely. And
for all you knew, it was a Lisa who was angry, or it was someone who was killed by a Lisa because that Lisa was angry. I mean, there are a million
we could take it anyway as investigators.
And I think Sam also asked SB7 or SB11, which do we think is the best?
For myself personally, I'm still a fan of the SB7. And this SB7, there's been 3 iterations of it. The original, there was a second version, and then there was the SB7T that just came out probably 2 years ago or something now. The second iteration or evolution or whatever you want to call it of it, I do not really like. So I went and I found as many of the first generations that I could find of the spirit box. So I could just have a backlog of them in case something happens to one of them.
Right.
I like the SB7T. I think that's pretty cool. What I have some trouble with is the S box, but I love like the shack hacks and stuff like that. And I have a number of customs. I have probably about 40 spirit boxes, something like that. So
Wow.
I kind of like it, I guess.
We have the 7, don't we?
Yeah, we have a
Yeah,
7.
we have the 7 as well.
Yeah.
And I'm
I like
sure that's the first generation.
It's the one. It's the one that you used the other night that has the demon screen that's red. That's
Oh,
the
so
one
you
we
have the T. That's the T. Yeah, that's
Ours
the
has
T.
red screen, doesn't it?
The T has the red screen. And then I don't know, the SB11, I like it more now than when it came out. Personally, when it came out, I thought, God, this is a real cheap piece of crap. You know, I mean, it's supposed to do so much, but it's just so kind of bulky and cheap feeling, and so lightweight. You know, and you pay so much for this stuff. But now I just you know, I like it more and more now, but I don't use it as much. The other day I thought I should try it in one of our lives and see what happens. What I also do is I'll take 2 SB7s and I'll just have them running simultaneously, and you know, and just kind of go from there. I can understand that the headache, because the white noise isn't for everybody. For me personally, the good responses, and I can almost feel them coming, actually, and I don't know what that is, to be honest. You know, one of the things, and especially you know, seeing Jennifer on here, you know, I do tend to use at least what I call my own brand of mediumship to call in spirits. I do not get the messages totally through here, but I do get them. I do ask for them to come through. I ask them to come through. So when I hear the responses, they always float above the white noise for me. Like they're not too difficult. Sometimes they're really hard. Sometimes, like I don't know when you listened on Tuesday, if you could hear, like, there's mumbling, like that you could hear them, but they're just
I heard that a
really
lot.
in the background.
I heard something that kept almost whispering, and something that was deeper voice that was more mumbling. You couldn't quite make out what it was saying.
Well, and that's when you would ask for my brother-in-law.
Okay.
There was a real deep mumbling, and Rick had a real deep voice, and he was always real kind of calm and didn't get excited. And I felt like that tone was him.
I hope it was. And, you know, the thing is, we can always try again and again if you like, you know, and that's the thing when we do these Sundays, is when people are like, oh, I heard my loved one or whatever, I always say to them, are you sure? Because I don't want you, first of all, you're not going to hurt my feelings if I asked, did you hear them and they didn't come through? You know, that's always the thing.
Because what we do is we want solid evidence.
We want something much more, you know, tangible. And I want something more tangible when I'm doing these for you, so that you could hear like a voice or something and be like, yep, I heard them. I heard, you know, Aunt Jean come through, because that's the sort of thing that makes me, it validates for me. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I also like to cross over spirits on Sunday nights. And a couple weeks ago, I couldn't do it. I could not cross over a spirit. I did on Tuesday, but I couldn't on Sunday, and that was rare for me. But at the same time, I'm going to show you all. If I can't do it, I can't do it. I'm not going to blow. No, you know, as I see Jess, I'm not going to blow smoke up your, you know what. I'm just going to be as honest as I can about it. And so when I'm listening to the white noise, it doesn't really bother me at all, to be honest.
Yeah, the way I can sit and listen to, some nights when I really have trouble sleeping, I actually listen to white noise to sleep, so it doesn't bother me. But you know, like you were saying, my thought on it is, if you just hear one word and you think, oh, that's my loved one, it is really hard in one single word or just a word or two to be sure that that voice is the voice of your loved one. You know?
Yep, absolutely. And it's also hard when it's anything under 2 syllables.
Yeah.
And, you know, so, you know, if they go by Jess or they go by Greg, you know, I hear my name, but did I hear my name? And so generally I won't be the one be like, oh, I heard my name, because first of all, I hate that when investigators do that. Suddenly it's all about them. But secondly, and there's been people who said, oh, I heard your name. And I went back and listened. I'm like, yeah, that could be it. Or hi, Greg. When I hear hi, Greg, then I know that's different. And a couple of weeks ago, I got a hi, Greg, as soon as I turned on the box.
Yeah.
But, like Terry, get Terry, or if Jennifer's name came in through, it's just like, or
it's
you
a little
get
easier to make it out.
much easier to make it out. And also, like, Linus's name came through on Sunday.
Oh, yeah,
really
several times.
Yeah, and it came through 3 times. So yeah, it's really interesting, and there's ways that you can minimize that static, by using like a pedal, using a portal, all these things that you could put in to lessen it. And also, and what you're hearing is different than what I'm hearing on my end when I do these lives. When I listen back, I'm like, oh, this sounds pretty decent actually compared to the real white noise on my end.
Right.
You can also put in the Faraday bag and stuff like that. I mean, there's all sorts of things that you can try to do to minimize that. I just don't. So yeah.
So let's go back to your beginnings, Greg. What got you into paranormal investigation?
Spirit box, literally the spirit box. I seen it on a show, and I thought to myself, my gosh, if that really works, then this is pretty cool. And
I want to be a part of it.
I want to be a part of it. I mean, I saw at that point there was a lot of, there's still some shows on, not like there is now, and a lot of them was really stupid. Like they're doing some really stupid things to try to get
some
spirit.
Of the ones now are pretty stupid too.
That's true too. But so I'm just like, okay, well, let me try it, and we ordered a spirit box. I didn't know where to get one from, but so I got it from Amazon, and that place where I worked. We got it. My friend got it. Jeff got it with me. We went down. We shot it all on video. We recorded it, turned it on. We asked the question, "Is there somebody here?" And we weren't getting any radio at all in the basement. And we get this name, Nate, that comes through. It's just Nate, and we're like, "Wow, that's pretty neat." And then do you have a last name? And it's Lund. And asked a bunch of questions, including, "Is there anyone else who could talk to us?" And we get this female, "Hello." It's like, oh, hello. We go back up to the 12th floor, and we were in a room that people always says, oh, it's haunted, it's haunted. And so we went in there, and I just said, my name is Greg. This is Jeff. Can you say Greg, and can you say Jeff? And you just get Greg, Jeff. I mean, all it's right, like, then. What a great night. What a great night.
Yeah, they were like hooked.
Well, that's kind of how Graceland has been for us. It's so active. It really does just. It always, every time we investigate there, it reignites the passion because it is always just so active. So we get that.
Yeah. We were packing up, leaving one night. Pretty much the whole team was there. Everybody was gone. Me and Jess were closing up, and
my car was at the very end of the driveway because I am chronically late everywhere, so I was the last one to get there. And Terry's was up and it's a fairly long driveway. So I was saying, hey, do you want me to pull up and wait when you get everything loaded up and then we'll leave? And she said, no, by the time you get to your car, I'm going to be done and ready to go. So she finished and I start walking towards my car. And then you can take the rest away because it just gives me the willies.
Yeah, so I get almost to my truck and I hear a child almost singing mama or mommy or something like that. Now we're out in the country.
It's a big nobody piece of land. Around. There's no neighbors.
It's 3:30 in the morning. No traffic, no nothing. I hear it plain as day, like it's right there. And I said, hey girl, did you hear that? She said, which one, the child or the mama answering it? I'm like, message me when you get home, girl.
It's time to go. Because I heard the little kid almost sing-songy mommy or mama. And then I heard, I couldn't make out the words, but you know that tone a parent gets when they're responding to their child? Just that, yes, what is it, baby? But I couldn't make out the words, but I heard a woman responding to that voice. And that was it. It was time to go home. We weren't using the spirit box. This was just our ears.
Yeah.
All right. Kids make it creepy. It's time to go.
Wow. Did you want to hear anything? Do you want to hear any of my?
Absolutely.
Sure, yeah, please.
I can, if you don't mind me sharing on my screen here.
Please.
Absolutely.
Let's see. I'm sure I'll screw this up, but we can only guess if that's going to happen. So I'll probably start right away, and I'll just try to stop it. Let's see here. There we go. So what you're going to hear here?
We'll mute ourselves.
This is from Vliska, and what this is, I'm going to set it up. I'm not going to say everything, but I'm going to say a couple things. First, you're going to hear someone say Greg. This is where we're talking about, like, my name comes through. It's very clear, though, and it didn't come from the spirit box. And I look at the people around me, and I'm like, did someone say my name? And they're all shaking their heads at me, and you're going to hear spirit go, I did. And then from there, you're gonna hear me ask, well, you know my name, what is your name? And you're gonna hear their response. So I'm gonna play this for you right now. Greg, what? You know my name? You said my name. What is your name?
Wow.
Oh no! Wow.
So that brings up a good question, Greg. When you hear the Satan, demon, and it seems to come through a lot.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
That is absolutely not Satan.
Well,
yeah,
you have to, for Jess and I, you have to buy into that there's a red man living in the center of the earth with flame, and
sure,
we don't,
because we are not Christian. We it's not that we just don't believe in some things. I don't believe there is Satan.
Yeah.
Now, are there dark and negative energies? Absolutely. We've talked about this. Like, Charles Manson was an asshole in life. He's going to be an asshole in the afterlife.
Absolutely.
And of course, it's hard to imagine worse than Charles Manson. But there are evil fuckers in the world.
Being a true crime junkie, there are some evil people.
Right. So when those people go on, I believe that yes, they're
probably still
they're
fairly evil people.
Yeah. No. I mean, and like Amaris said that they heard Sam, and it's like, could be. I mean, but honestly, I mean, I've heard this. I mean, this audio is 10 years old, and I've played it so many times, and I know that there is a Satan is what's being said there. You know, it just is, and I know that putting the words there also leads, but we don't have 15 minutes per audio to get it, but everyone in the room at the time were all just like, oh, come on. And then what's not on the audio that we did not include is us going, knock it off. We know that you're not, it's just like, none of us were like, oh my God, it's Satan. It's more like, stop it. You're annoying. You're ridiculous.
I will say the first time I heard demon come over the SB7, there's a place here in Bessemer, Alabama, and you should look this up. Memorial Mound. Creepy as, I'm not supposed to be dropping the F-bomb on the day show. We first turned on the SB7 there, and we were asking, is anyone here? Can you tell us who you are? And demon, loud as just that plane flying over us, demon. That's the first time I heard it, and I was like, oh, I'm out.
It might not be a demon. It might just be an evil spirit who thinks they're a demon. But it's time to go home.
This is an underground. The guy wanted to do like a Indian burial ground updated thing. Really look this place up. It's just wild.
Wow.
So it's an underground funeral home.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And they just took the bodies out of there not so long, within the last 5 years maybe.
Oh wow!
Well,
but they had been over there decaying for years. The guy died, and it was abandoned. It's just a wild place. And to hear demon, I was already creeped out being underground.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm out.
Now,
No, thank you.
do you have time for one more?
Absolutely.
This one I'm gonna set up before I find it so it can just play. Last May, as it was, I decided, because I was watching a documentary about Abraham Lincoln, I decided I wanted to see if I could reach out to him on that night's program. So before, it's always about setting your intentions. So before the show started, I had my equipment over here, my flashlight going. I said, President Lincoln, I would like to ask if you would say something tonight. When I ask, I'm going to put your picture right here. I pointed to the screen. I said, I'm not here to exploit you. I just want, there's going to be a lot of people who'd love to hear your voice. And I said, President Lincoln, would you be okay with that? And the flashlight turns on. And I'm like, cool. Okay. Thank you very much. And it turns off. I said, I also would like permission to reach out to Mary Todd Lincoln because I know that she's a spiritualist and I'd love to be able to talk with her, and the flashlight turns on again. So I'm like, cool. So the show starts and I point to this picture. It's about the documentary is a picture of Lincoln in the bed that he died in. And that's hotly contested. So I put the picture up on screen. I said, President Lincoln, is this you? What I'm pointing to, is this you? And he said, yes. I got a voice that said yes. And the chat room starts going crazy. And I kind of start to kind of get a little weirded out by it. Not weird like he reached out, but like almost starstruck. So I decided,
Right.
well, I'm gonna ask Mary Todd Lincoln something. The real question was, Mrs. Lincoln, you spoke to spirits when you're alive. Now that you've passed, do you speak to the living? It's as simple as that. You're going to hear me mess this question up because I'm seeing all these comments coming up, as we can see in StreamYard right now, and they're all like, my God, you got Lincoln, oh my God, oh my. I mean, and I'm just kind of freaking out about it myself. So we get a response from her, and I think this is absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to play that right now. I'm going to find that real fast. Let's see. Here we go.
Mrs. Lincoln, you spent your entire life reaching out to spirits. Do you talk to other people? Do you talk to other people as a spirit, to other living people? Talk about what?
Should I play it one more time?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah.
One thing I'm going to say is that voice, and I pointed to it when it happened. It's a gentleman says, I know, and that's Lincoln. That was the same voice we attributed to Lincoln. So I'm going to play that one more time. Here we go.
Mrs. Lincoln, you spent your entire life reaching out to spirits. Do you talk to other people? Do you talk to other people as a spirit, to other living people? Talk about what?
Love it.
That's so
Wow.
cool.
Yeah, I heard both. That
I
was
did too.
very, very clear.
We did one on Easter, and I know that you said that neither of you follow Christianity, and I respect that. We did one where where I asked for Mary to come through, and I'll be honest, and this is tough because not everyone believes in this sort of thing, and I think you take it how you want to, right?
Mhm.
Right.
But when I asked, I mean, there was such a feeling of calm that came over all of us on Easter, and then I asked Mother Mary, "Are you here?" And we get this woman response. She says, "I'm here," and it was
Very cool.
it was cool. And other people were like, "Well, I don't believe in Mary," and I said, "You know what? It could be anyone you want it to be." I really do believe that. I mean, because there's no malice in it. I think you could have been anyone that you wanted to be, because they heard it. They're not denying that they heard something, but they're just
Right.
like, why are you trying to reach through? Why are you trying to reach this person and just say it's this figure of
I
Christianity?
don't know if you can hear the church bells ringing
Yeah,
as you're talking
There are
about
church
this.
bells ringing in the background.
Isn't that something? Yeah.
Well, see, and it's important for us to note here that we actually don't
Not believe.
we believe Jesus was
hmm
alive. We believe Mary was alive, and it's not even that I don't believe in the Christian God. I simply don't worship him.
Sure.
I don't believe
So-
in the King James version.
Sure.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, and I certainly am not trying to turn it into something like, you know, a discussion about that. It's just that I wanted
Oh,
to be
yeah,
we don't mind that either.
respectful of
We
what
go
you're
there
doing.
all the time.
We always make sure when we do investigations, if we're offering a cleansing, we actually do offer a Christian cleansing as well from
Sure.
some friends that we have who are able to do that. So, you know, I mean, we live in Alabama.
We're highly we are the outcasts.
We're
You're in
the
the Bible
outcasts.
Belt. You're in the Bible Belt.
We are in the minority as far as that religion down here.
Yeah.
I did have someone, my child, that's my child, was asking how you get your flashlight to come on and off.
You need to get, like, this is a mag light. And this is one of the hardest things for me to do, to be perfectly honest. But what you want to do is, and I'm going to flash it at the screen, so that's going to make it, so you can see it's on, and you got to get it between on and off, and just, so it's like any sort of movement can make it, see, I didn't even do it, and it turned back on. It's not spirit, it's just that I'm moving it.
Right.
The theory is that spirit can give it a little bit of energy to move and turn on the flashlight. And but it's hard for me to set it. I'm not great at it. That is one of, I've gotten much better over the years, but I'm not as good as other, like I see other people just do it, boom boom, there you go, and it works amazingly. I do it and it's just like, is this working? Can anyone hear me? And then you reset it and it starts working better. You know, sometimes it works. That if you watch me on my show, that's how I do it. Is that you'll see me like go back over, because we haven't seen anything all day, and it's like, oh, because it doesn't look like it's working. And for asking whether or not you think it's on or not, I'm not going to replicate it very well, but when you have it sit down, and you can, but if you just like move it, see it's off, and you're like, well, is it on? I just roll it a little bit to see if that's enough to turn it on. You see, they're not going to roll it, but I mean, at least it gives me, so I know that I'm in the ballpark for having this thing on. So that's how
we need to go through our evidence and find the audio. We were at the Cuyahoga Grits Mill in Childersburg, Alabama. In October, we were leading like public tours to raise money for the park. Mm-hmm. And one of the people had a flashlight in her hand, click button. Mm-hmm. And you hear it.
You hear it click on.
That's cool.
Freaked her out.
Yeah, her finger was nowhere near the button. Like there was no way she had
Jess
done
was
it.
standing there.
I was right near her. We got some weird stuff.
Well, you know, and because when I first did it, and I talked about that first night that we were down in the basement doing the investigation, and we had one of those big jug, like red jug flashlights, you know what I mean? Like they're square.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know how it all worked. So I'm just like, can you turn the flashlight off for me on this big thing? And I have it on video. And you could see the light kind of draining on it. Like it's lessening. And I thought, oh my goodness, maybe that's what's happening. I've had other people look at it and like, I don't see it. And that's fair. But to me, it was always like, oh goodness, there is something happening here. And, you know, I saw Red Ridge X Paranormal say, you know, I flats, you know, test mine, flat solid surface, which is what I just said, and then ask. And like, yeah, you can ask, but they don't always answer. And that's why I just like to roll it a little bit.
Just to make sure that it is able to be.
Yeah. And if they're getting answers every single time they ask, that's amazing. I don't, and that's just how it goes, you know.
Our issue tends to be showing up with everything fully charged and everything being dead within about 10 minutes. So yeah, that's our biggest issue.
Yeah, there's always that's why battery companies love us, right? You know?
I have started slowly purchasing rechargeable equipment, such as the green, you know, dots light, the little grid light, and our flashlights now that are both black light and regular flashlight. They're all rechargeable because we were going through so many daggone batteries.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous how much you go through.
Graceland of Alabama kills us on batteries too.
Lord, yes.
So anyway, we are a few minutes after 12. I don't think anybody follows us, but we don't want to take up your day. We know you've got Friday plans.
Got drinking to do, yeah.
Got drinking to do. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
Right. Yeah.
So we appreciate you being here, Greg.
Well, thank
Plug
you.
all your stuff. Tell everybody where to find you, your Patreon, all that.
For if you want to follow me, you can send me a friend request on. Someone shared my profile. Feel free to just friend me. I never like to say to people follow me because I'm not worth following, but I'm worth being a friend. So if you want to do that, also MN Ghostbox is my Facebook group page, which is going to be rebranded soon, but all my stuff is on there. And then obviously I'm on Skeleton Key and other networks, and we're just doing some good stuff. I do have a Patreon. I think it's Patreon, and then there's some words behind it. So
You can put it up in the comments.
If y'all catch one of his live shows, he does put it up on the screen in the beginning just to get all of his links out. I noticed on your show.
Yeah, I do a little bit at the beginning to beg for money, and it's humiliating, but what can you do, right? And so
hey, and when
5 minutes late.
When we as paranormal investigators beg for money, you just heard us talk about batteries.
It's mostly what we're buying is batteries.
Well, and we're doing, we're trying to do these lives once a month, Christy and I, where we are, like we were at the McIntyre Villa in May, and it costs money to go out there. And people are like, well, that's your choice to do it. And you're absolutely right. But if you're watching what Jess and Terry's doing, if you're watching what I'm doing and you think it's, worth a little something, it doesn't have to be a lot, but even just amazing what a few bucks does for the ego, so to speak, and not like to raise it, but to make you feel like, okay, this is affecting someone. Someone's feeling good about this. Yeah.
People may not realize, but it cost us money to stream.
Yes.
For us to be here doing what we do.
StreamYard costs money, and then not to mention staying up to date on the some of the newer equipment, which we never buy the newest equipment. We're always a few iterations behind, but equipment costs money, batteries cost money, travel. We typically have to stock up.
We never charge a client
drinks and water and stuff like that. So
and don't worry. Because we're not going to get rich. That if people are concerned that too much money's coming in, trust us, it's not. And it's just. I mean, and you two, I can speak for myself, and I'm sure I can actually speak for you two. We put everything into these lives. We put everything into them, and you two are at a location right now because you want to bring different locations to people. That's why I do what I do. So
we're up here at this shop, and I've got my 9-year-old daughter with me. So
right. Well,
we do everything for these.
And I just did a live from Ohio State Reformatory, a walkthrough. It's an hour walkthrough, and I loved it. But I mean, we were able to see people, and thank you, Don, for supporting me. And she does. We were showing stuff that people have never been to, had seen it on that level, and that was just because we were so excited to be able to share it. And so, if people are just like, I don't really want to put money towards it, fair enough, you don't have to. Yeah, but for those of you who do, then we appreciate it very much.
Absolutely, and
right, even if you could donate $1,
we try to help the humans that are involved, their houses are being haunted or they think they are. We're also trying to give a voice to the spirits that can't talk anymore. Yep. We just
do what we do.
Do what we do. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You might have cut out on me.
Did we lose you a minute?
I can give you some.
When is the next time we catch you live?
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I'll be back. I totally ignored your question so I could do that. Isn't that ridiculous?
That's okay.
No, we're that way too.
So I'm going to be live on Sunday at 10 p.m. I'm not doing my radio show on Sunday afternoon, but Sunday night at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time, I am going to be. Actually, my producer just texted me like, "Are you going to be live this weekend? What's going on?" It's funny. It's funny actually that happened. But I'm Sunday night. We're going to be reaching out to anyone who's been in service for us. It doesn't have to be an award. Doesn't have to be, but just those who served for us.
Our veterans.
We just want to celebrate. So.
Yeah, cool. I understand that. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much again, Greg, for being with us. And we're going to have you back again sometime.
I'd love that. Thank you so very much.
And thank you, everybody who watched. And you can catch us again Sunday night at
with
11
Jeremy York.
with Jeremy York at 11:30. We'll be doing Unlocked and Uncensored. So a lot more.
We're gonna
F-bombs.
dig down deep in Jeremy's shit.
Yep. So
Have a good day, Greg, and a good weekend.
You too.
Drink one for us.
yeah, drink
I'll
a
take
couple.
5 for each of you.
That works.
Bye, Greg.
Bye bye.
Bye. Ooh.